Welcome to Obsession Engineering at the seaside. We're at Scarborough for the Gold Cup. We don't care about the surf, we only care about the racing. It's currently Friday night and we've actually had a test day today, so we've done 2 practice sessions, 2 qualifying sessions on each bike, so it has been busy and that's why I've not recorded anything. But tomorrow morning we'll be going racing because we love motorbike racing. It's Saturday morning, so it's race day. It has been raining overnight and it is really quite cold. So the track's quite damp and the road in the paddock's damp. So I might let some other people do morning warm-up instead of me and dry the track out a little bit. But let's nip in the garage and see what bikes we've got. So it's pretty much the usual fleet of bikes. I'm on the 660 and I'm on my ZXR 750, so 2 of the bikes that were at the Manx Grand Prix, but I've taken that back off Martin because he's going far too fast on it, so he's not allowed that anymore. 750 is good, Twins excellent. Coming down here, Martin's 600 is here, but minus bodywork, which is over behind it, because it was going excellently yesterday. Martin was sort of at the front of the 600 pack. Then he might have had a little moment, and he clipped something. It was very, very windy yesterday, and there was a bit of leaves and stuff got blown onto the track at the top hairpin, and he hit some of that, basically took the front into full lock, and then didn't quite fall off, managed to actually do a big arc around the inside of the corner, and went up the grass bank and then fell off. So has done almost no damage. The brake lever guard was a little bit bent out of place, and he managed to somehow kick his steering damper, but enough to actually bend it. So this is actually the spare steering damper from my 750, and it looks massive, but when he's actually on the bike it's nowhere near his hand, so it's okay. But that's yeah, he's lucky I had that in the box, otherwise he'd be trying to ride around here with no steering damper, and nowadays it is bumpy at Scarborough. So he is going well. I think he's 12th in the A final grid, and there is 2 full grids of 600, so that is good effort from Martin. The spare 750 is here purely because Martin has bought it back from the Manx Grand Prix. It's going to sit there, and hopefully we don't need any of the spares out of it. Yes. So then, Rob, are you happy to be back at Scarborough?
Yeah, it's very cold again. Can we have summer back, please? It's damp, miserable. Martin's here though. He's not miserable today.
He's normally miserable though.
He's got his coffee. Yeah, be fun, won't it?
Well, so wandering around the paddock, we find the usual reprobate. This is Gary. Me and Gary have raced against each other for years round Scarborough.
Years.
So what are you on, Gary?
Currently around an FZ 750 through 1000 and a Suzuki Bandit 1200 Street Fighter style.
But you've bought 2 bikes that are in the same class.
Yes, I have. Yes, because unfortunately, R6 gearbox is no good, so I couldn't get it fixed in time. Just thought we'd bring 2 bikes just to have a bit of fun on, really.
So which is better?
FZ. Yeah, FZ, I think. Yeah, but for fun, I suppose a Bandit.
Right. Okay. So what you're saying is they're both best.
Correct.
This is Keith, and yesterday it was Keith's birthday. What does it feel like to be 60, Keith?
I don't know. What does it feel like to be 60, Dave? I'm there next year, but you're there already, so what's it feel like?
Terrible. I'm very cold.
Very old?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Aaron's gone.
What?
Just in one ear.
Who said what? Right, so Keith's got the ugliest motorcycle ever made, which is a 750 That's rad. And he's got purple forks in it because he's some sort of pervert.
Can it be being a pervert?
So he's got that and a ZX636 over there. And I think it's going okay, isn't it, Keith?
Yeah, we're going alright, yeah.
Keith.
Oh,
no,
sorry.
No, it doesn't work like that. You can't see the other people. It's like television, not like the telephone. It only works one way.
I thought it was like yeah. I thought it was like a television when you like get inside of it. Is that not right? Isn't that the same?
I'm not sure when you last got inside your own television.
When I was a kid. That's what I used to think when I was a kid. What's your hand shaking for?
It's quite cold.
Is that a gimbal?
It is, yeah.
So people will not be able to see that it's shaking all over?
No,
Oh.
no, you ought to see what I sometimes do with my other hand when I'm filming.
Depends what you're filming.
Bye, Keith. Right, I've gone posh and popped up to the friendliest big team in the paddock, the Padgett's boys, who are in the middle of swapping the front end in the 250 that Davey Todd's riding. And it's always nice hanging around with these boys because it's utterly professional, but always seems fun. I think they're, you know, it's one big happy family down here, isn't it? The bikes are always properly built, out of all the nice bits, and everything works, and everything's fast. But it all seems like they're actually still having fun. Isn't that right, Clive?
Dave, absolutely. The first objective of motorbike racing, when we all started, you, me, Wayne, Dave, Stevie in the back of the van, we all started racing to have fun, didn't we?
We did.
And we're still smiling.
We are. Slight change of plan because I've actually decided I am going to do morning warm-up. Well, go and just have a look round for a lap or two on the 750, and that will just give me a bit of a warm-up before the session and give me an idea where there might be damp patches, if there are any. So yeah, about to put my helmet on and have a little poodle round. Right, Rob is putting fuel and bits back in the 750. The twin is ready to go. Tyre press is done. Let's go race some motorbikes. Every bloody time. Chris bloody Kinley.
And he's only on holiday?
He's not even working. Chris Kinley's here on holiday and he still gets in my shop. Little tinker. Right, first race done. I came in a little bit grumpy if I'm honest. Got mugged on the last lap. I thought my braking at the end of the back straight was about bob on. I thought that was like a good bit of me circuit. And it turns out it isn't because the only two people who overtook me in that race did it there. My biggest problem at the moment is I'm not getting onto the back straight well. Into the left hand of the S, like the long left, I'm waiting till I can see the exit before I get on the gas, and that's too late. So I need to get on the gas like almost before I see the apex curb, and then it'll be better. But that's a little bit mental thing of pinning the throttle before you can even see where you're going. I need to do that to make my lap times better, and that will go on both bikes. So that's my thing to chip away at the weekend. Right, Martin's out next. He's the Supersport A race, the 600A race. They're just going to take all the stuff down to the holding area down there and stick him back on warmers. Right, so we're down with Martin on the dummy grid. Because there's a proper dummy grid here, it's quite sensible to just bring a generator and tyre warmers and bits down here. Because then you can come down early and you're sat ready to go, or if there's anything happens on track and there's a delay, you're sat with your warmers on, which is always a bit of a luxury, especially because Martin whinges like a small child if he hasn't got tyre temperature exactly right. I've been coming to Scarborough for years, and this weekend I've noticed there's quite a lot of new faces. not necessarily all rookies, but people who aren't sort of, you know, the people who've been doing it for 10, 15, 20 years or whatever. There's sort of fresh blood coming through all the time, which is really good to see. Because, you know, we all love coming here and love racing, but quite a few of us unfortunately aren't getting any younger. So no, it's really, really good to see a load of new blood coming through. Looks good for the future of bike racing, especially for road racing.
I'm going to try and stick with Sweeney.
That is a good scout.
Let's watch me fail miserably.
Yeah. Well, after losing loads of space on the first couple of laps, I'm not quite sure what happened yet, he's actually been doing a reasonable pace. He's been not far off the pace of the group in front of him. Unfortunately, by then there was quite a big gap. Oh dear, Martin. The bottom lip will be out.
Two people went down at the first corner, so I decided I couldn't get through, so I'm just sat there, feet on the floor, on the clutch, waiting to do a little hill start. So that was about 10-15 seconds, and then next lap or last lap, Trev went down at the last hairpin, and the bike was just lay on the apex, like, and it just okay. So I had to slow right down and had to do a big U-turn right around the back of him. So I lost me another God knows how many seconds, and then I couldn't see anybody after that. I was on my own. I was just looking back at every hairpin, making sure I wasn't going to get lapped. That's how far back I was, isn't it?
You weren't that far back.
Yeah.
Oh well, everything's in one piece. Thank you.
Yep.
Alright, classic Superbike time then. I think I'm P8 on the grid for this. So all I need to do is actually pull my finger out and go forwards, not backwards. Then it'd be a bit of a miracle. That was more like it. That felt like a proper race, that did. Not a bad start. Little bit boxed first corner, so came out probably about where I went in really. And then end of the first lap, yeah, tried to go underneath somebody at Mountside hairpin, got underneath, turned in, but that bike hadn't got a lot of steering lock, hit the steering lock, and then it basically the bike was to fall over. So I had to do a full clutching foot dab thing to get myself upright, and a couple of people come past, which is a little bit annoying. And it was like, angry head. Yeah, then got my head down a little bit. Passed the first bloke back on the yellow YZF, I don't actually know his name. Passed him into Farm Bends because he was a bit steady over the jumps. His bike didn't look very stable, so I pinned past him there. And then got Banham, I think it's Banham? Don't know, on the other Mistral bike. Got him end of the back straight. Actually finally got a decent drive onto the back straight and pinged past him on the brake. And he hung it out, tried to go round the outside. And this is last lap, so you know, he's tried to hang it out round the outside and turn in on me. And it's like, not sure that's going to work. So it was my apex, and yeah, job done. And I knew once I'd got past Mountside, I knew I was faster over the jumps into Farm Bends than him. So no, thoroughly enjoyed that. Only slight thing is the camera turned off at some point. Oh well. The only other slight issue is I missed a gear coming out of the top hairpin out of Memorial one lap and headbutted the screen, which was already cracked there from the Manx. So that was getting a little bit flappy. But luckily, I do have another one in the van. So it's been lunchtime and I've eaten a few snacky little bits. Don't want to eat too much and go sort of heavy and lethargic. And I thought, I'll just fancy something else, so I'll have a Nature Valley Crunchy Bar. They're quite good, these. And there was a bit of a bonus because I then went in the box and found Cadbury's Boosts, which are better because they're more chocolatey fun. So that was, you know, like finding an extra £5 in your back pocket of your jeans or something. That was a win. What I need to do in this one is go faster, because at the moment my lap times are a bit 2 minutes flat round here on a twin isn't particularly good. So I need to pull my finger out, run a little bit more entry speed, quite a lot more entry speed, pick the throttle up earlier, which I was doing better on the 750, and yeah, basically have a bit more of a go. that got busy fast into the first corner. I started on P12, so I'm on the outside of the grid. So I thought, well, I'll try and go around the outside and run the outside in the first corner. But I looked like out the corner of my eye, I saw red and white bike, counter racing bike, going straight up the inside, and all of a sudden there's just chaos and bikes sitting up everywhere. And I just thought, right, I sat it up. I couldn't sit up fully because the bloke was outside me. He was leaning on me, and it was just, that was real busy. And then obviously got a terrible run up the hill and lost a load of places. Then there was 2 people down at Jury's on the first lap, and then I got my head down a little bit, got past a couple of people, slightly angry head, so I was chipping away at lap times a bit more, which is better. Good fun though. So next is a classic Superbike. So I'm going to go out, basically have myself a wrestling match with a really cool old motorbike, and yeah, hopefully it'll be smiles and trophies. Though the smiles are more likely than the trophies. Tell you what, first corner on classic Superbikes is a little bit calmer than on the twins. A bit too calm. I was a bit too gentle into it, and I was wide. And Jack Peary, whatever his name is, somebody went up the inside, and I just basically was stuck behind him for the whole race. And I was faster than him in loads of places, but he was getting off the corners well, and he was hitting the brakes well, and he was blocking the line off. So I'd line him up into farm bends. I was so much faster over the jumps, and I'd line him up, but then he'd literally run across the track and just block you having a go. And yeah, it's a committed move into farm bends anyway. I just thought if I try it, we're both going to get in a bit of trouble here. So yeah, back down. I was a little bit annoyed at myself for not being able to get past him. But than that, yeah, it was all right. Bike's good. Might take my lens off and chill out now. In reflection, it's not been a bad day, really.
So, Cal, your first day, on the tools with the core of the team and not with the clock dog.
The core of the team.
Yeah, we've ditched Stu. He was holding us back a little bit. So straight into some real UK road racing. So in the deep end, enjoying it.
Good lad, good lad. So you'll be back for more?
Always.
Excellent job.
Always.
And you've put up with Martin all day?
You could say that.
Have you hit a single apex today?
Once, I think, maybe.
By accident?
Yeah, I was offline. I was off my normal racing line, and I got close to an apex. No, it's been okay, to be fair. First race I got stuck, and then that last race, just everyone went slower, I think. So big boy pants on, first corner aggression, good start, knocked some people out of the way.
Sounds like Scarborough.
It's been -2, it's been 25 degrees, it's been horrific wind, so everything Scarborough normally is really. We've had fun. Yeah.
Yeah, the 25 mile an hour wind must have been what happened to
Well,
that.
I'm still hoping out for maybe one day I might get a phone call from Hollyoaks, you never know. But
You can be fairly sure, Rob.
I'm pretty sure they've lost my number by the looks of it, but you can only but hope. But yeah, it's been a lovely day on it. We'll get some bikes turned around ready for tomorrow and do it all again tomorrow.
It's Sunday morning in Scarborough and we're ready to go motorbike racing again. I'm going to do morning warm-up on the Twin, and the good news is it's dry and it's not freezing cold, which is a bonus. Come back from morning warm-up and I found Rob pumping in the back of my van. But yeah, he's looked at a forecast that isn't brilliant, so he's making sure the wets are ready. I don't know whether I've just had a really good night's sleep. Bit more wired, almost a bit more nervous for it. I know I need to pull my finger out, so no, morning warm was good. I feel like I could sort of dig in and go for it quite early in the race. Just need a good start, so it's going to be elbows out. Yes! Finished the Twin race, I had to wait a few minutes to calm down. I was livid when I come in on that one. My own fault because I had a bad start, and then because I'm on the inside of the track, inside of the first corner, and just got boxed. It was full foot down, clutching at the apex, and just nowhere to go. So it was just a bad start, and then just I got past James Tadman, I think it is, fairly easy because his bike's not very fast. And just drove down the outside of him and then got stuck behind a lad on an ER6. And he could brake. So all he was interested in was braking as late as he could, everywhere, and blocking. And he was offline and his apex speeds were rubbish, and he was just, we must have been 2 or 3 seconds a lap down on what we should be doing. And I don't think he had any interest in going forwards. He only had any interest in not letting me pass. He kept looking behind him, and it's so frustrating because he'd turned in, I nearly rammed him a couple of times, and I was nearly on the grass down the back straight and just trying to find a gap. And he was just so aggressive on his braking that you just couldn't get past, and he was and I'm so annoyed that I've had a bad race. So we better do a better one later, hopefully. Right, Martin's out next, so I'm going to go down the holding area with him, calm down a bit.
The last run through farm bends in the Twin race, there was yellow flags because Adam here had a little lay in the floor. What happened, Adam?
Oh, disaster. Had the race won, just had to get it over the line and just came down in. Bike crossed up on me, had to release the brake and touch the grass. So little damage done and just a silly mistake, bit disappointing, but it happens.
Right, down in the holding area waiting for Martin's first race. So he needs to pull his finger out, he needs to get a better start. As long as he steps off from here, we'll head up to the grid, that's how he gets on. Martin's come back from his 600 race and he's actually surprisingly cheerful. The advantage of being here when you have a shockingly bad start from the back of the grid, everybody bunches up into the first corner anyway, so I didn't really lose out. Was back, did a 53.6, which is PB area for him, so he's actually come back quite cheerful. So that's a good sign. Right, I'm out on the classic Superbike, so we're going to roll down to the holding area in a couple of minutes and see if I can have a slightly better race than I did on the Twin. And I called Jack Turner, James Tadman earlier, completely the wrong person. And interestingly, he got stuck behind the same bloke yesterday on the Twin and got really frustrated, so at least it's not just me. Decent start, and actually had, I think it was Sweeney, actually leaning on my toe on the way into the first corner. So yeah, that was close enough, but yeah, there's plenty of room. Had a good race, but just the boys in front just got me straight away. And the problem is I've got at the moment is I'm not carrying enough corner speed. I don't carry enough entry speed on the 750, and that's what's holding me back at the moment. 57s again, so that seems to be my sort of pace on that this weekend. But I know where I can go faster. So if it keeps dry for later, just need to carry more entry speed, basically put big boy pants on. So that was all right. Twins ready to go again. Martin should be out on the Gold Cup race after lunch. So this has gone well. Lunchtime it rained a reasonable amount, so now everywhere is wet, and if I do the standard racers grip test like this, not terribly grippy, which is lovely because the next race should be the Gold Cup race, which Martin is in, but now they've changed the schedule around because I assume they're trying to run the Gold Cup race in the dry, so they've called the 600A race, which is 80% of the Gold Cup race anyway, and Martin's still out, so it hasn't made a vast amount of difference to us. We've put some wets in it, he's going to go out and he's going to have a fun time sliding around. So they've given everybody 2 warm-up laps. Martin did the first one and then decided to come back in the pits. He wasn't the only one, I think there was 3 of them retired to the pits at the end of the first warm-up lap, and everybody was looking very tentative. I think it was Jack Sims was like the last rider down on the floor. He was talking to the marshals and bits, but looked like he hurt his leg or something, and it clearly looked like it hurt a lot, so I wasn't going to rubberneck that too much. Waiting to see what happens with restarts and stuff. I'm kind of guessing Martin probably won't bother. So a few minutes ago, my weather forecast said it had stopped raining, but apparently it hasn't at all, in the slightest, and everything is now very wet. So they've put in a 20-minute delay so that they know what's going on. And I kind of think they were hoping it was going to stop raining and dry up, and it isn't. So for a while it's going to be wet, and everybody's looking very happy about it. So how's your weekend been going?
Good.
Oh God, we're going back to the Martin Morris Guide to Interviews, which is single word answers.
It's been alright. Informative. Yeah, need to pull my finger out, and that's about it.
That seems to be the order of events for several of us.
I've been slow and I need to pull my finger out, but I've enjoyed myself, and that's all that matters, and I've not crashed yet. I do see why you don't like it, Martin. It's really close, isn't it? You're like, was it really? I don't know.
Yeah. I sometimes I don't even record it. I just point it towards Martin and just make him uncomfortable. I watched a couple of laps of the 600 race in the wet. It still looked like people were having fun. So I've put the wets in the twin, and I've put my wet leathers on, and I've put the breath guard in my helmet. And we're going to go and have a ride around. I'm sure it'll all work out splendidly. It is minging out there. So no, decided one lap, didn't really enjoy it, time to pull in. So the debate is for you, Keith, Gold Cup race, which is after this race, which quite a lot of people might have gone home, so you could be in for a proper result, but it's not terribly dry. It's also not completely wet.
But it's completely slippy.
Yes.
So this is the mass debate we're having.
We are having a mass debate about the weather, yes.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes.
Oh, right. I
Yeah.
thought we're on a different show.
No, this is a family show, Keith.
Oh, family show,
Yeah.
right.
So, are you going to man up, or are you going to act like the sensible old stager that you are?
Are you going to man up?
I went out on the twin. I manned
And pulled
up.
in?
Yes. Like the sensible old stager I am.
I don't know.
Excellent.
I still don't know. So, from start to finish, we still don't know.
No, and we've been having this mass debate for several minutes now. So, I thought because it's the Gold Cup race and it's the feature race, and I'd come and get the best view of the house. So I'll come up and Tony, the voice of Scarborough, whether he wants to be or not, and Brad, who's actually a good commentator. I thought I'd come up here and join in the fun really up here. Right, what do we think? What are our predictions for this race? Does it depend who turns up?
Well, yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, you can say if they all turn up. Well, Davey Todd, he's been looking good, hasn't he, all weekend?
Yeah.
Davey Todd. Jim Hind is, young, keen. Probably give him a bit of a run for his money, hopefully. But Davey Todd, ever the showman. Hopefully he'll be able to pull the pin. He's getting close to the lap record of yesterday, but you can see out there, can't you? The weather isn't exactly the greatest, so.
Yeah, I'm not expecting him to do a 1:45 in this weather.
No.
But a man who's spent most of his biking career going sideways on stuff is not going to be too worried by a bit of lack of grip, is he?
Yeah, that's it.
Alright, so it's nice to go and watch the Gold Cup race up in the commentary tower. Adam McLean, awesome win. It was drying, and I think there was probably a tyre difference between him and Davey Todd, and Jim Hines coming through to second. So, I mean, they all rode brilliantly, but you could see Davey Todd every time he got on the throttle with the thing nearly sideways, he just didn't have any drive. So no, it was exciting that somebody else got to basically do the race, and it makes it exciting because that's why we love motorbike racing, because it's not predictable. But anyway, I'm meant to be out next, but the track isn't looking particularly brilliant. Right then, Barry Ferber has just been out in the Gold Cup race. Was it loads of fun?
No, none almost. I was going to pull in on lap 2, but I thought I'll just keep going round and round, and I think I went slower and slower and slower. But it's like going up that bank up here, whatever that's called. It's just wheel spinning all the way. It's just and then it'll hit a dry bit and take off, and the front wheel will come up. And it's not much fun.
I mean, it does actually sound like fun when you put it like that.
It does now, yeah, but not when you're sat on the thing.
This is decidedly in the middle. And so I'm going to say that if you ran a wet in this, you're going to kill it within a couple of laps, because if it's dry like this here, it will be up the top of the circuit, up through the S's and onto the back straight. It's definitely going to be dry, and you're going to kill a wet. But if you run a dry, especially into the first corner and out the last corner and a couple of places out Memorial, it's going to be really greasy. So what I might do is wimp out. So that is the end of Gold Cup 2022 for us. Slightly disappointing again that I didn't really fancy sliding around and crashing a 750, but there is a bigger picture because in a couple of weeks I'm out to Mexico to go racing over there. But anyway, back to today. I think we've had fun, mostly. We've had some little ups and downs, but all in one piece, and we'll be good to go next time. Thanks for watching, and join us again for some Mexico action.